Take two. Let's try this again. And yes, I'm keeping this in a video because it goes to show why I haven't made anything in a while. Welcome. This is the second take of this because my graphics card crashed in the middle of the first part. Luckily, our guest here, say hello.
I'm sure I'm gonna mentally crash.
Probably.
I don't know what's happening. And especially because there's been a round two with all the many steps of this. I, and especially with the workaround that's being implemented right now, there's still a veil over my eyes, even as we're going through this. Apparently, not great for my sense of comfort and what sort of cult I'm about to be joining.
Yeah, totally joining a cult. Anyway, everyone, Barden. If you don't recognize his voice, he was in the Brawlhalla videos with me, the last couple of videos I did. So I have brought Barden here today for something
Ugh,
the audience, can see, which is some degenerate shit on the screen right now. He
ugh.
can't see it, and unfortunately, due to the limitation of my current computer, he's not gonna be able to see it. However, what I can do is this, and I just thought about this, right? So I'm gonna send you this link.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're doing.
Oh. I didn't, for context, I didn't click on that link, but I read what the link says.
hmm I have brought this unsuspecting victim in here to help me tear these lovely
I,
monster girl ladies. Barden,
why?
what we are going to do currently
Why,
is
SpongeBob?
we
Why?
we are going to go through this list and rate these monster girls from S to
Not
D.
only, no, shut your mouth. Not only is this degenerate, you've invoked a legitimate critical thought, so it's intriguing to me intrinsically,
That
and now
is
I have
why
to
I
think about it.
that's why I chose you, because I knew, unlike our other friend, he would have called me a fucking weirdo and backed out immediately, and our other friend would have been too into it. You, however, are teetering in between. You hate this situation. You hate being here. However, you are intrigued by
Well, the thing that I hate more is you.
it.
Because you're aware of this and you're willing to use it, knowing that I'm suffering for an audience. And I'm reading this list, and first of all, it is incredibly limited, which I'm fine with. But there is an inherent limitation to the number and variety of these particular individuals, and I, I'm, I pointed that out, which means I guess I'm already engaged. Fuck it, we're already in. We're in the seventh circle. Let's go down to the eighth.
Hell yeah, let's do this. Okay, so first off, oh, and by the way this is going to work is we are going to determine whether or not they would make excellent wife material.
I knew that was going to be your angle. You sick, you degenerate. You, I could have gone. It could have been from any angle, and now that I say that out loud, I said it could be from any angle.
Yeah, you did. You poor bastard.
It just do the thing. I'm going to sit here and think for a second.
All right, first one up. I have no idea how to say her name, the plant girl. Barton, would you like to open the floor as to whether or not this particular species of monster girl would make a good wife?
All right, so I'm going to bring up straight out the gate. One of the things that makes this particularly tricky, and actually what makes a fair few of these picks tricky, is there's an inherent day-night cycle that some of these individuals would have to go through. And as far as a
Mm.
plant person is concerned, you're talking about food through some ground nutrients, like she probably eats dirt, really. And then there's also photosynthesis. But that means you have to be prepared for a daytime life cycle. If you are a night owl inherently, it's not a good matchup, which unfortunately does dock some points because if we're going for a universal basis across the board, this plant person doesn't match up with everyone, which only docks so many points because that's not the most fair way to judge, but it does have to be taken into consideration. However, as far as I mean, if we're talking sheer logistics, there are so few ways to cut down on food expenses. Like you're talking about just feeding yourself and then what? Your lady just eats dirt and sunlight. You're set. That is a huge expense taken off the list as far as wife material.
Not only that, not only that, but waste management would be a lot easier as well.
Absolutely. And really, as far as waste is concerned, like you also have to consider the distinct possibility that plant monster girl, like just she's down for nature and things like that. So this is an individual. If you're someone who is like has any kind of natural inclination whatsoever, and that could mean so many things. There's a there's a good synergy in that household. So there's a cycle that kind of goes into just the natural lifespan of your partner in that situation that works a whole lot. Really, anyone who's a city dweller, I mean, she's probably going to suffer in city life, which is kind of a big deal as far as, again, general application to people.
True.
So another thing that,
Not only
go ahead.
that, not only that, the implication of you living in a house, period, doesn't matter if it's in the city, but you're living in a house that is primarily made up of dead nature. If you're living in a regular home, you're surrounded by wood and other things like that. How would she take that?
Yeah, see, that's another really, really tricky one because I think that also that probably comes down more to personality though.
True.
I'm trying to think like just the broad strokes of what life would be like with this plant person. So personality, those little adjustments, there you've got to imagine like as far as humans are concerned, we have the whole range of people who are totally down with all kinds of shit and then some people totally not down with it. So that can be a little bit wishy-washy, and I'm fine with not really contributing that too much, but there is there is the terrifying like Bosmer from the Elder Scrolls Green Pact kind of situation where you may also be in a situation where eh, potentially someone who's like vegan or whatever may not be able to have this girl as a partner because this girl might be like, yo, you gotta eat nothing but meat. If I even see you with a plant in your mouth, this plant is never gonna be in your mouth. Like that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
this is a this is a tricky one, but I think we're probably I'm teetering on S, but unfortunately there's some like health things. Like I said, urban life does not mesh well with plant person, and that's a lot of people across the world. So as far as broad application, there is something that isn't necessarily a doc as far as wife material, but you still want to consider the happiness of your partner. So looking at it broad strokes, definite A tier. Like there's no doubt A.
A tier. I can totally agree with that. A tier, plant waifu, done. Okay, so my list might be different than yours because I moved some of these around. But the next one, Bunny Girl. You're
Oh,
see, I knew
that's
it.
going to be a
That one.
tricky one. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
share your thoughts because I took way over on that, and Bunny, I'm going to need to think.
All right, so Bunny Girl, right? Rabbits. We know how they are. Let's be real. Easy to maintain diet, mostly vegetables and stuff like that. However, could you, or let's say, could the average man keep up with their stamina? Let's be real. We know what
Mm,
bunnies do here, and if you're not old enough to know, why are you on my channel?
yeah, that's a fair point.
Because I can tell you right now, I've got ridiculous stamina, but I don't think I've got stamina to handle a fucking bunny girl. I'm gonna be real, and they're cute. let's let's say that they're cute. Wife material. Now this is where it gets tricky because I don't know how rabbits treat their young, and that would be the most important part. She would probably be a homebody, a housewife,
Mm.
if anything. Your thoughts?
That's the thing. Like, yeah, Bunny Girl is like Bunny Girl wants to get bread always. You are looking at a packed household, and I'm shooting ideas just kind of left and right. So like, I do not want to be quoted on any bunny facts that I throw. I don't want to be quoted on any facts that I throw out here, but I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure even though there is like a big family always reproducing kind of lifestyle of the common bunny, I'm I don't know that I can necessarily speak to the full length nurturing. I'm sure it's got to be there, but there's still an element of always needing to crank them through. So if we're talking about someone who is absolutely down, giant family, let's get it going, constantly have kids in the house. Yeah, I think Bunny Girl, as far as that angle is concerned, absolutely. And again, we're also talking about a fairly specialized diet, more leaning toward herbivore, but you also don't necessarily have to worry about the potential moral ramifications that you would with Plant Girl. It's just, like you said, that's a lot to keep up with. And even
No,
if it's not just breeding, the act itself.
not only that, but if we're talking about the breeding aspect along with the act itself, there is a critical part of this that needs to be addressed. At least two. One, income to be able to take care of that big of a family.
Hmm.
Two, space to be able to take care of that big of a family.
This is the type of thing where, unfortunately, you gotta kind of think of Bunny Girl as something of like mansion wife, semi maybe gold digger, because you like, yeah, you gotta have that space, you gotta have that income, but also if you're gonna keep that loyalty, it's even if it's not gonna happen, there's got to be some part of you that wonders, like, if I don't feed that thumping beast at my house and I'm just stuck at work all day, like, you gotta have a lot of free time. So I'm thinking like Bunny Girl is real good for billionaire wants to have a horde of kids. But
Yeah.
across the board, that's a rough one. The the trade-off also is that we don't necessarily we got to think about kink factor, and I honestly don't think Bunny Girl is all that kinky really.
No, not
I
even.
think she's more purpose before pleasure. A little bit. There's a little bit of that.
True, true.
I,
I'm
this
leaning.
this might be controversy, but yeah, I have my position.
I personally, I'm leaning towards C tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yep,
See,
C tier. Bunny
yeah,
Girl
it's
and C
got to be.
tier. All you Bunny Girl lovers, I don't give a fuck. C tier.
I'm sorry. Listen, there's probably some other merits that we're missing, but we're talking wife material. We're not just talking hookup here.
Right. You want to know who's gonna have a field day with this video? Nicole.
I, well,
I don't even know if she'll be able to make it through it. But we're moving on to the next one. Cat Girl.
Oh, the classic, and I'm going to be hated for this. I promise you.
Hey man, if you want to straight shoot one of these girls into one of these categories, go right ahead. If we don't have to discuss it, that's fine. We've got a lot
Oh
to
my
go through.
god. I do. I do, and I'm putting Catgirl straight in B tier.
Ooh, B tier. Ooh, buddy.
Catgirl is middle of the road. There are so many benefits, and I honestly think it's kind of been talked to death. But we're talking about like core aspects. We're talking about the modifier, all right? The girl part really is null and void because it's a constant across the board. We're talking about the disparities between them that make their experiences unique. So we have to talk about Cat, and Cat is good. As a concept, Cat is good. Cat as lifelong romantic partner, I not not great.
No, it'd be pretty hard. Because cats by nature fickle creatures. They really do what they want, and they're not really a creature that can be led. And I can see that being a thing that is also contributed towards catgirls. Now there is the once over outlier, but typically they're all generally considered animals that do whatever the fuck they want, and fuck you for ever trying to change them.
And let's be honest, that can be a bonus. There are plenty of situations where that kind of independence and force of personality, real good thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, definitely good. There are just all of the downsides that you could think of for Cat applies to Cat Girl.
Yep.
And that does include the strong potential for that uh, kind of tsundere aspect of every now and then she might just say, nah, fuck you. And that can be a little rough.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
saying, look, it's maybe high B tier, but I gotta stick to B tier for Cat Girl.
Honestly, I agree. I can see B tier for Catgirl making perfect sense, and a lot of people are not going to like that, but I
No,
don't.
they're not.
No.
And I also don't care.
All right. Moving on to the next one, Cyclops.
All right, let's kick up some more controversy. Cyclops, A tier.
A tier. Hold on.
I'm going to ruin people on this one.
Okay. All right. I'll put. All right. To be fair, I'm putting Cyclops Girl in A tier. In my opinion, only because big strong waifu. I'm down for that. But why is it A tier for you?
Okay, like you said, big, strong waifu. Also, and this is going to be seen as big downside, but Cyclops Girl, not the brightest, which is fair enough. Listen, a bunch of people in the world, not bright, but being on the dumber side is fine. Like, there's inherently nothing wrong with that. And there's also a level of not only big, strong, but Cyclopi, very, in a similar realm, the courtship. All right, I'm going to bring up a counterpoint, but then bring it back. So, Cyclops Girl, gonna be a it's gonna be tough to get on her good side. That courtship might be rough because that's a form of independence and like she relies on her strength a lot. And again, not bright. So that's kind of maybe an emotional and mental wall that you have to break through. But as soon as you get to that point and you overcome that maybe unnecessary level of walled off independence, that is pure loyalty. And regardless of whether or not you want the big strong part, that is a loyal person whose affection you have truly earned because she could end you instantly but has chosen to love you.
You know what? You made a solid argument, and I get it. Yeah, no. A tier. I agree. No. I already know where I want to put this next one. I'm wondering about you, Zombie Girl.
All right. This is where I try to dance around my language because I have a big, big negative that oh god, dude. It's just
You want to hear my opinion first?
yes, please. I need to think of how I'm gonna
D tier for fucking dead. I'm not fucking a corpse. I'm sorry. No.
Okay, all
No.
right,
The
yeah. All
answer is
right.
no.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to qualify it. Yeah, D. If I could put it lower, I would.
You know,
No.
zombie lovers, I'm sorry. And at the same time, I'm not sorry. Stop it. Get help.
I'm just
Oh,
saying
fuck.
consent. It gets tricky.
It really does. Nope. And then it'd be cold. I'm good, bro. I don't like the idea of waking up every day next to a corpse. It's not. Anyway,
Yeah, I really don't think we need to explain ourselves further.
no. Demon Girl. I'm gonna be
And
real.
we go right into complicated again.
Super complicated. I'm choosing right off the bat S tier. S tier for me. You want to know why
That
S
that
tier?
that was my impulse too, but I would love to hear your rationale.
Demon Girl comes from the pits of hell. She's badass. She could probably cook me a mean fucking steak, having been in fire for all her fucking life. Those horns are fucking hot. She could kick my ass at any time and hex me. She'd dominate the fuck out of me. Something I'm usually not into, but you know what? For that, yes. I'm going full
Yeah,
send
that's
fucking degenerate on this one. Yes. I want her to fucking stomp on me. Yes.
Jesus. All right, see, we're getting progressively more and more subjective here. And I'm trying to remain as objective as possible. And you have to be ready for evil. And that's not exaggeration. That's I'm straight you have to be prepared even if it's not directed at you. You have to be prepared for this to be at some level an evil bitch. Which fair enough,
You know what?
man. Like
You know what? I
that
also
works.
forgot this was a wife tier list. This
Mhm.
is me being biased. I have to reevaluate this.
Well, I
All
also
right.
don't necessarily know that you're wrong though, because again, if we're also thinking about the loyalty you get and the value that that means in the context of who we're talking about. So, if we're talking about you have landed wife, how much loyalty do you get from that? How difficult was it to get that? Just the whole package. And I think Demon Girl is another one where that loyalty might be it's not as hard to earn, but the true trust
Is
when you get
after,
to that point,
honestly.
that's like that evil is on your side. You also got to consider that.
Yeah.
So
It also
I
depends on
think
the personality of this specific demon girl. Now, let's say, all right, if we're going to work on best case scenario here, you've managed to land yourself a demon wife, and she actually does genuinely love you. Not only do you have yourself a top tier wife, she's fucking strong as shit. Most demons are, let's be fucking real. She will kick your enemies' asses. Now, worst case scenario, she has somehow signed you into a binding contract that makes you her fucking bitch, and you are now screwed.
actually, yeah, you do bring up an excellent point. There is also during the courtship phase, there is a big risk that you're just getting fucked with.
Yeah, because at any point, she could just go fucking mask off and be like, "You signed the contract, you fool! Now you
Oh,
belong to me forever!" And
ooh,
you're kind of, yeah.
yeah. Once we include the courtship factor and potential pitfalls there, okay. Oh, that's a tough one. You
So
gotta be wily when you're dealing with Demon Girl. You gotta be very careful you don't fall into some traps. Ooh, that knocks Demon Girl down.
So if I'm going to be real, Me personally put her in S tier because I really like Demon Girl. But if we're going by the rules of this tier list, B tier because it's a 50-50. It's really a 50-50. It's up to you to make that bitch yours, or she's going to make you hers.
Yeah, you need to make sure you got to make sure you're the one in charge and you're calling those shots because that's definitely the kind of you don't want her taking control until you've already established some real trust and connection there.
Yep.
Wow, I
Oh,
honestly thought it was going to be hard to knock Demon Girl down from S for me, but that absolutely did it because I'm a paranoid son of a bitch.
oh yeah, 100%. Now, the next one. I know where I would put her. Both cases, but I want to hear your argument for this. Dragon Girl.
Immediate S tier. There's no, no
God
contest.
damn it, we are on just like that. Immediate S tier.
Yeah,
If you have managed to land yourself a dragon, let's be fucking real. If you have managed to land yourself a dragon, she is going to be loyal. She's going to be great wife material once you teach her if she hasn't been, you know, because let's be real, most of the time dragons don't really interact that much with beings that they might consider lower than themselves. You might have to work with that a little bit. But once they get the hang of it, yes. And
yeah, and you're talking about especially once we're in the category of supernatural, godly powers, kind of that realm of Monster Girl. Dragon Girl is probably the one you can trust, likely the most, with some exceptions. But we're talking about a lot of power and probably one of the most trustworthy with it, and that's
yeah,
a big deal.
true. Because, like I said, if you even got to the point where you can get a dragon girl to wipe you, you have already established a point of trust that she is going to be the best for you at any given time. Unless you're dealing with evil dragon girls, and quite frankly, I don't know what fucking maniac would be. I mean, if you're that type of person, well,
Well, probably the same type of person that would fuck with Demon Girl.
that is true. So, S tier for me. I don't see any real downsides to this other than,
Well, I mean, I do because you also have to consider like she's probably got some pretty fucking high standards. Like we're not talking about a low maintenance girl either. It's
true.
just it's just a matter of that maintenance is worth it.
Yeah, because, and it's not only that, but just because they're dragon doesn't mean that they won't try and bring themselves down to understanding your level a bit.
Yeah, that's it's pretty much the opposite of Bunny Girl, where Bunny Girl is a lot of maintenance, but not really worth it. And just across the board, you're not getting as much for how much you need to put in. Dragon Girl, what you put, you're getting back probably way more.
Yeah, probably tenfold, if that. Like, it solid S tier. I don't care what anyone
Easy.
says. Now, this one is the one that I was really banking on talking to you about because you would know this particular creature more than me. I don't know the lore that much. Doulahan.
Oh, I was dreading getting to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dulahan. Okay, so as far as straight up lore is concerned, I will admit I'm still a little bit light, but
Wow.
what I do know is this is another one where we're talking about you've got to be prepared for some evil. Dulahan, not nice, not nice spirits. However, there is wiggle room in there where if we're talking about loyalty and again what you're getting out of maintenance put in, first of all, maintenance super fucking low. Ephemeral Dulahan, eh, we're talking about a kind of undead that isn't zombie girl, which automatically way better.
Hmm.
But the maintenance factor is pretty low. You're talking about more or less regular person with a little bit more of a spectral lean. So I don't even think there would be a need to eat. And even if there is, first of all, where's it going? But then two,
The great
it's
mystery.
probably pretty light. And even if it is something, I don't know, maybe a little fucked up, just wants to munch on a corpse, fair enough. There's plenty of those around. Probably cleaning up. If you're a butcher, even better.
Now, what if it's not that they eat per se, physically, but spiritually?
And that's where it gets extra tricky.
Because whose spirit are you going to allow them to segment off of? Yours? You ain't gonna live that long, buddy.
Dullahan is definitely one of the most, you need to make a moral decision when you're pursuing her. You need to decide who you are as a person, who you are willing to have by your side as a person, because when we're talking about the categories of evil, Demon Girl has more nuance. Truly, she does. So there's honestly a little bit less of it because in that complexity, you have that wiggle room for saying that, okay, so maybe there's a little bit more of a, maybe there's a little bit more going on. There's some more under the surface, and there probably is. Dullahan more direct. She's doing some questionable things, and there's not as much complexity behind it. So if you're not super pious on the on the moral spectrum, probably way better for you. Now, the trade-off, and again, this is where we're talking about what maintenance and what you get out of it. We're, I'm just gonna say it. We all know some of the appeal of the Dullahan here.
Yeah,
We all
we.
know, and it's there.
Yep.
It is clear and present, and it has to be accounted for. It's just a matter of we're still also talking about wife material. So I also got to go B because we're talking about another girl who has some inherent power too. It's just you need to be prepared for some moral sacrifices, and that's not a price that everyone's willing to pay.
All right. You say B, right? Here's my counter argument, and this is for me making her lower on the tier list because I personally believe she's a C.
Fair enough. I honestly think B is a little bit high.
Yeah. This dual hunt, from what I understand about the little bit of lore I know, Harbingers of Death. If someone who is so closely tied with death becomes your wife, would she be able to sustain a relationship with you trying to keep that alive when everything about her is tied to things ending? And that's not saying that she can't keep the relationship alive just because she's mostly involved with death. I mean, quite literally, how much death surrounds this particular being?
Hmm.
Because that is a huge factor to think about. And too much for me to think about, and I personally would not go for it. So I think C tier wife. It it's
You,
a lot of work.
yeah, you swayed me, and I had some other things. Like we don't have to cover all of it, but yeah, you're right. Nah,
C
she's
tier
down to
wife.
C. Yeah, like I said, B was pretty generous on my part.
Mm. All right, I know where I want to put this one, but fairy.
Uh, S. Yeah,
S.
yeah, S
Okay.
tier.
Oh, the complete
Yeah,
wrong spectrum for me. I was going to go D. Hold on. We need to talk about this.
no, S tier.
S tier. Can you tell me?
Absolutely.
Can you tell me why?
You need to understand that you're talking about having. All right, I again counterpoint. Circle back around. So, one of the immediate counterpoints you can come up with, and there are going to be some people who fucking argue with me on this, and anyone who argues with me on this, do not speak to me. The biggest downfall you could think of is physical form, and we all know what I'm talking about there. But here's the thing,
Yeah.
they're not restricted to that form. There's no reason to suggest really that they're restricted to the particular form that would be a problem. It's just a matter of size. But here's the thing, typically fairies are that size. They are not restricted to it. These are magical beings. They typically choose to be that size, and if they don't want to be, there are absolutely ways to overcome that. Even if it's not changing their size, they can change yours, motherfucker. So it still works out. And let me paint this picture for you. You have Fairy Girl as a wife. First of all, someone who is keyed into a already kind of another one who's more natural, first of all. So there's that, again, little bit of synergy there. But also, the fairy lifestyle is community oriented inherently. So that's a big orientation in her mind, probably, that leans already toward a kind of household thing. And think of it this way, prankster wife.
Okay. All right.
You are having fun. She has magic. Now, fine, you do also have to be prepared. You're probably going to get pranked a little bit, but it's also coming from someone who, depending on how much we get into like original fairy tales, that's when it switches. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like newer version fairy, and infinitely better. Someone who can laugh and likes to have fun and will certainly bring you genuine joy, even if it comes at the cost of every now and then you get a pie in your face while you're asleep. I- If we're talking about that's the price you got to pay, I'm paying that price.
Fuck, son of a bitch, I'm in. All right, S tier. You made a good argument, man. I'm not gonna lie. Holy shit, dude. Fuck. All
You're
right.
welcome. Welcome to this side of reality.
Oh man, this is why I'm glad I had you in here for this. Okay, next girl, Ghost Girl. Personally,
Hmm.
this would 100%, depending on the ghost. I'm just saying base Ghost Girl. We're going base Ghost Girl. This would 100% be a relationship built on emotion alone. There's no way that they would normally be able to interact with the world. When we're talking about a wife tier list, that that's a hard decrease, in my
Hmm.
opinion. What say you?
This one hurts more. I have to put Ghost Girl D tier. And here's the thing, Zombie Girl was easy. I was happy to just throw Zombie Girl into D tier. Ghost Girl hurts a little more because it's more just the tragedy of the fact that, fine, you might have some poltergeist tendencies, there might be some physical interaction, but you are talking about one of the most disconnected relationships possible on a physical level. And even if it is emotional, first of all, she's dead. Similar to Zombie Girl, this is another big one. And Dullahan kind of falls into this category too. But you're talking about there's a guarantee. First of all, it's hard to say that she's outliving you because she's already dead. But oh wait, actually, I might have just flipped myself. So hold on. I may have just changed my own mind. I was gonna say
Uh
that this is a situation where you're talking about a doomed relationship, but hold on, there's no guarantee that when you die, you're becoming a zombie. But you know what the fuck you're guaranteed to be?
Wait, hold on before you even cross that line. There's no guarantee. Well, There is no guarantee you will become a ghost because the particular thing about becoming a ghost is there needs to be a reason for that. Not only that, all right, let's say, for the sake of argument, you and this girl become romantically involved, and it's purely emotional. The reason she's a ghost in the first place is because there was something unfinished on Earth that she couldn't do. Okay, so you bring her happiness, but at the
Ah,
same
damn
time,
it! I
she's
turned
still,
myself again.
yeah, at the same time, there's still that bit of bitterness there that's keeping her anchored to the world. If you really loved that girl, you would help her move on, wouldn't you? And at the end of the day, that means that that relationship is eventually going to end, whether you like it or not.
Dude, my meter keeps going from the extremes. It keeps bouncing between D and S, and here's why. So, I was following you, and here's the thing. I'm with you on that, but I flip myself again because, okay, you have that situation. She's got something anchoring her. Fair enough. I flip myself again to S tier, though, because I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to be the thing to give her peace, but the potential for one of the most beautiful stories you could ever be a part of is there, where you have that connection, and even if it means death, that connection, the thought of the you dying and then both of you being so fulfilled in that relationship that you both move on is absolutely incredible. And then my brain kicked in and I was like, we're talking about wife material, having a life together. That requires you fucking dying and both of you moving on to nothingness. D tier again.
Yep.
And she's staying there because I can't handle this. And this is why I said Ghost Girl was so hard to rank in my head because it's just extreme after extreme. But the
Mm-hmm.
happiest you get is when you die, maybe.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, wife tier list. D tier. Sorry, girl. Ghost girl. Ooh, that was a roller coaster for you, wasn't
Dude, I was all over the place. I legitimately started swaying
it?
in my chair.
Dude, do you want to know what's funny? This video is already 42 minutes long. Oh,
Well,
God.
you know what? Here, do we have to speed around this? Because I'm fine. Just shut
No,
up. Let's go.
yeah, I like having the debate of this, which is why I don't give a fuck how long this video is going to be. So, Goblin Girl. All right, let me say one thing.
Uh-huh.
One thing. Gobbo short stacks. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, you have one benefit and then just the ocean of net. I'm gonna go C tier,
Yeah.
but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. C tier. There's like it. The only reason they don't get into D tier for me, Gabo short stacks.
Listen, it's
You,
Gobbo short stacks, and you also have Prankster of the Fairy, but that is the only good thing you get from Fairy.
yeah, the rest
The
is
rest is just the worst.
yeah. Oh man, not hard. So next up, Harpy. I I
Harpy.
I personally do not know how to do this one. I don't know. I've thought about this since I told you that we were going to make a video and it would be a surprise for you. When I looked at this list, I thought, I know where to put every girl on this list except Harpy.
Harpy is B.
B.
Harpy is B tier with Catgirl. And here's why. So, starting negative, you have Harpy Girl has an attitude. Easily one, she's, and I can't even say it's necessarily passionate. It's just she's going to have some shit to say about a lot, and at the same time, also, she's going to be distracted by shinies. However, first of all, you cannot discount flight as a big benefit. It's honestly, I didn't say it out loud, but that was also a big benefit for Fairy and Dragon Girl. It was up there. Flight is
True.
actually kind of a big deal.
True.
And Harpy Girl is fairly strong. Like she does have to be. Her prey for that's another thing is we're also talking about omnivore, which we haven't brought up food in a while. But
True.
Harpy Girl does she is omnivorous, which blends like even if it does kind of rack up the bill as far as like fairly regular kind of person, you're still talking about you can probably eat a lot of the same things. That's a good synergy there. And when we're talking about domestic life, that's a good thing. And you're talking about someone who has the ability to fly on top of that. It's good. I genuinely think the biggest buy-in when you're talking about for Harpy Girl is you got to deal with her attitude, which can be a little rough. And there is the aspect of, first of all, you're dealing with feathers instead of flesh. I didn't bring this up with Plant Girl because it was a little bit rough, but there is maybe some sacrifice of some comfort there as far as cuddling is concerned, especially with talons.
Hmm.
But that's not the biggest price to pay. You pay a similar price for a lot of the other girls. So I don't see why that's a big knock. It's just there is she's middle of the road because you're getting a decent amount for the maintenance that you're talking about. She's got
But
some good pluses and some negatives. She's middle of the road.
middle of the road. I agree. I completely agree. Uh, there's also the thought, great mother, great mother.
Yeah, true.
All right. Lamia. I already know where I'm putting this. Fucking
Say
S
it.
tier. S tier. They, I, I don't care. S tier. I don't give a fuck. I'm not even going to explain myself. S tier. We're moving on.
Okay. She's
uh,
in S tier. All right, just take it easy, man.
I will fight you for this. Anyway, Mermaid.
This is another one that's painful.
Hmm.
It's painful, but a mermaid is at best C tier. That's
Ooh,
really hard to say.
that
It's
is,
so
isn't
hard,
it?
but dude, this is a big one of you gotta think what does it take to maintain this relationship and how much do you get from it?
I.
Mermaid Girl, you
Mhm.
have to be in the water, man. You've got to be by the water. You have, as a person, you have to spend an unbelievable amount of time in and or around the water. And a lot of it too. We're talking about like ocean or big lake. You've got to be in that. This is a region specific girl. And that's another thing that was kind of a background thought in my mind. But Mermaid Girl is hugely region specific.
Very hard. I personally, I was thinking D tier personally for Mermaid Girl, but I feel like that's pretty disingenuous because there's a way to make it work. It's just gonna be hard.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like Mermaid Girl, for all of that buy-in, does have plenty that is beneficial. Plenty. We're talking about a sweet person, probably, almost certainly great voice. There's benefits to it. You're also talking about a kind of sincerity that's very good and a perspective that you don't normally have, and that's again another background thing that we can't just keep bringing everything up, but we're talking about someone who has lived a very different life from you, and that can be fascinating. It can also be kind of a crutch too because you might struggle a little bit to connect on things, but there are some things that are a good counterbalance for Mermaid Girl. It's just a lot that you got to buy into, and it's not going to be worth it for a lot of people.
Yeah. You want to know another thing we never brought up? We haven't brought up this one particular thing for each and every one of these girls because
Oh no.
it's been detached so far.
Oh, this
Parents.
changes the whole list.
Parents.
I God, dude, we can't think about that. We cannot introduce that point, especially now. We can't.
Because I'm going to be real. Do you want to know why it hasn't been introduced? Every
uh,
one of these girls that we have talked about on here, their parents would be particularly easier to deal with than most.
what?
Mermaids. Demon Girl? Not hard. Their parents, probably not going to be a problem for you if you're getting fucked over. If you're not getting fucked over, the most you have to do is convince them that's not that difficult. Catgirl, they probably won't give a shit. Harpy, they probably won't give a shit. Bunny Girl, they definitely won't give a shit. They probably have a fuck ton of their own other children to deal with. Doulahan, I don't think that's even a thing. Gabo, who are your parents again? Dragon Girl. Mm,
No, I need you to appreciate something though. If you're going to start knocking these girls based on their parentage, then you need to start potentially giving or docking points to them as mothers.
that's fair. That's fair. But the thing is, I haven't seen any of them that would be a bad mother, including Mermaid Girl. I don't think they would be a bad parent. I just think her parents in particular would be hard to deal with because mermaids are really, depending on which lore you follow, their social status. Eh.
And listen, that's also like I'm trying to think more recent because if we start digging into myth and fairy tale, so many of these change on a dime.
Oh, yes, they do.
So I
I'm
don't
just
know,
saying,
man. I don't
in
think
this.
we can. I gotta stick to C tier. Like I need to stick there. It's
Oh, I was
tragic, but it
100%
needs to
going to.
be.
I was going to say to C tier. I was going to stay at C tier for her.
Okay.
But that particular monster girl's parents would be a pain in the ass to deal with, but it's fine.
All right. Who the hell do we
Sheep
have
Girl.
next? Because I. Oh, sheep girl. Um. Okay. I'm gonna A tier.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think there's any points we can bring up.
Yeah,
Like,
because there are plenty that we could. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not too much against sheep girl, really. It's just here's the thing. A tier, great, uh, genuinely great. The only reason why we have S tier is because there's an X factor involved that really bumps them up.
mm-hmm,
Sheep Girl is really great. The X factor
just isn't there.
is the only limiting thing, realistically. The biggest knock is that she's not spectacular. She's really fucking good though.
Yeah. Okay, solid choice. Easy. Now, Slime Girl is next.
I, I context. Remember the context we're talking about waifu.
We are talking
Remember
about
the
wife.
context.
We are.
Remember
I'm
the
fine.
context.
I'm fine. We are. And it D.
Uh-huh.
Yep, D.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. We're agreed. I don't have much to bring up. It's just the buy-in and maintenance versus benefit of that pairing is the return on investment there is through the floor.
Yeah, in the ballpark of you could fucking die at any moment due to an accident. So,
Yeah,
especially if you both fall asleep in the same bed, now suddenly you're drowning in her, and not in the good way.
yeah, wife
No,
material, no, D tier.
D tier.
Again,
Maybe
remember the
maybe
context before anyone.
Yeah, before anyone starts
Before,
getting pissy,
yeah.
wife material, D tier. And no, I don't want you to bring up the Lamia. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, what?
You can't accidentally drown in Snake, all right?
Yeah,
And I fine, you can bring up the cuddling, but just shut up.
Spider Girl.
Moving on. Okay.
Yep, Spider Girl.
Spider Girl is another really interesting one. This is a weird angle to take it in, admittedly, but you will never, ever have to pay for pest control at any point.
Oh my god. Oh man, that is not the angle I thought you were going for.
Your house will be so wildly free of pests. However, that is also because your house is going to be so full of god awful webs. Just webs everywhere. That's what you
Webs.
have to deal with. And if you don't deal with that, then you are risking pests. Eh, that angle is rough. And here's the thing, we're talking also about mother material on top of wife. Uh, Spider Girl does not give a fuck about the kids.
As a matter of fact, when the kids are born, depending on which Spider Girl that you decided to be with, I'm pretty sure your children are going to eat your wife.
Yeah, that's another thing. And if we're talking about variety of Spider Girl, uh, as soon as you have sex, you're dead.
Oh my god, yeah, right.
Eh, You're if you venture into that territory, as soon as you get it on, you're done for. So
Get get
automatically bad.
get your ass to D tier. I am sorry.
Yeah, look, there's honestly really not much I can think of that's a benefit. Not much. And
No, not
anything
a
I
lot.
can has some downsides.
Yeah, no. No, I'm good. No, thank you. So,
Yeah. I
top.
actually honestly feel like that's probably going to be one of the most controversial ones, weirdly enough.
We're if anyone ends up watching this, which I doubt they'll get this far because we're almost at an hour, they're going to be pissed. However, our next tour or horse slash cowgirl. These are two totally different things. I don't know why they put them together because cowgirl bipedal, horse girl usually got the back end of a horse.
Yeah, and that, I'm not gonna lie, that's what actually complicates this particular thing the most, is because they paired two girls together who have features that wildly diverge where they rank.
Hmm.
L- I'm, I don't
Like the
care
most you
what
would
the
get.
counterpoint is. If you are telling me that you're down with horse ass, get away from me.
Oh no! Shots fired. You guys hear that? Shots fucking fired. The most you have to deal with cowgirl is hooves for legs. That's it, and not even the whole leg, just part of it. But horse girl, that's usually like I have not seen this where it's not that way, except for that one anime, and you know what it is, and it's shitty. Where the only thing horse about them is their fucking ears.
Yeah, I
I,
mean that's cheating.
mm-hmm, that's cheating. And if I'm going to be honest, we're talking about wife materials. Cowgirl, probably excellent mother. Horse
Yeah,
girl, I don't know. I don't know a damn thing about horses. Quite frankly, they scare me.
good mother. Here's the thing, horse girl, easily one of the best mothers. Pretty easily. Like, there are very few that would probably trump her on that angle. And even as far as wife material, very good. We're also talking about another one who pretty strong, but also very domestic. So these are all good things. And you're also talking about All right, I'm gonna put this out there. As far as this one is concerned, I'm talking about Cowgirl because Horse Girl is D tier material, and I don't want to hear any counterpoints to it. Cowgirl, however, very good, very good across the board, especially for the context that we're talking about.
I
Pretty
would,
excellent. The thing is, I still have to go with A tier because similar to Sheep Girl, she's lacking in X factor.
yeah, that's what I was going to agree with you. A tier at the highest for Cowgirl. Horse Girl. All right, now hear me out.
Oh no, I
We
don't
are
want to,
talking
but go
about
ahead.
what we are talking about wife material.
Uh
Giving her
huh.
D tier just because she has horse ass is not fair.
That's a perfectly valid reason. Don't at me.
Yeah, I'm adding you right fucking now live. C tier. C tier. And the reason C tier is because she would make a great wife, but you gotta deal with horse ass. So I personally think C tier for horse, A tier for cow. There's no way I can split these fucking characters. So let's just say there's suddenly two of them now in both spots.
Sure,
Okay.
because whoever made this failed to separate them, even though that is a critical distinction.
Right. Okay. Vampire.
Oh god, dude, this is another one where my perspective just oscillates between S and D at a pace that makes me vibrate out of existence.
Yeah, not only that, but if you want to be with her, she's probably going to live for a very long fucking time. You're going to have to sacrifice your days to purely sleep in order for this to work because she's only going to be able to be out at night. Not only that, but if you want to actually stay with this character, you're going to have to let her turn you, which, depending on the lore that you're going with, which I guess we're going with recent, and no, not Twilight, you motherfucking. No. And anyway, you you might become a vampire or you might become a ghoul, and those are two totally different fucking things.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about Vampire Girl. You again, we're also considering a little bit of the domestic lifestyle, and this is polar opposite of Plant Girl, where you need to be nocturnal. There is no living with Vampire Girl if you're going to be up at any point in the
All right,
day.
and let's address this now. Yes, we know there are daywalker vampires. The likelihood of you running into that, no. We're going with baseline vampire here.
Yeah, that you can't. As soon as you start modifying things like that, the whole list changes.
Yeah, it
So
really
base
does.
Vampire Girl, we're talking again about a whole lot of buy-in. Now the trade-off is that this isn't all bad either, by any means. There is plenty of benefit. It's just again the buy-in for what it takes to be married to Vampire Girl is a lot. She's honestly, I actually want to say B tier because for the most part, as far as behavior is concerned, we're also talking about we're not talking about like 30 days of night vampire either. So we're talking about a pretty behaved, likely perfectly normal person other than need to feed on blood. And first of all, just get a vampire girl who's not a glutton and you're fine.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, I personally think A tier, in my opinion, and
Okay.
here's the reason why. If we're purely talking about waifu material, vampire, I believe, would be a pretty great wife once you've established the ins and outs of the relationship and how to balance that with your everyday life. Top tier wife. There is no reason why she wouldn't be. And also, depending on the age, probably very cultured. She could she could 100% teach you some shit. some once in a lifetime things you wouldn't normally ever even imagine knowing. You two could just go on a fucking journey together down whatever her memory lane is. Now that might bring some dark shit with it, but at the same time, you are getting culture, guaranteed.
Remember, though, we do have to remember the point that you brought up. You've got to be turned.
Yeah,
Because that's the
that.
other thing. If you don't get turned and you try to have a normal relationship, you also got to think of it from her angle. Because if you refuse to get turned, she knows that this relationship is doomed to you dying. And then she's just got to continue. So that creates a disconnect where even if you don't get turned and you try to make that relationship work, she knows that it's it's for her extremely temporary. It's going to be a blip on her radar ultimately. So that kind of disconnects things a bit. So I I
Mm,
j I have to stick to B tier because that's actually a big one. There's probably gonna be an emotional disconnect because she knows you're gonna die and you refuse to be turned.
but that's if you refuse.
Yeah.
I
But
guess
even
this
then, if you agree to it, that has its own downsides too, and I'm not saying it's not worth it, kind of. It's just these are big costs.
this is the one time I think during this whole thing that we have disagreed on this because I'm not removing her from A tier. I still think it's
Fair?
okay. I still think it's okay. This is just one caveat.
It's fair enough. Yeah, that knowledge point is a big one. I don't think it might not take much more. If there were some solid counterpoints to mine, I think it wouldn't take a lot for me to switch over to A. It's just, yeah, I gotta go, at least for me, she's gotta be B, because, yeah, like I said, those costs are pretty high.
Yeah. And then again, unlike you, I would love to be immortal. I don't have enough time to be
Oh,
immortal right now.
God, no, man, I can't fathom the idea of living forever. Don't
I
even.
I I love the idea of living forever. Do you want to know why I'm so goddamn miserable? That's gonna be a thing at the end of this video. It's because I don't have fucking time. I don't have any time. The fact that I don't have time and I'm reminded of that stresses me the fuck out. And every time I'm wasting my time on something, whether it be me being outside of this house or not working on videos, that's also going to be a thing at the end of this video. It kills me inside, which is why I'm so fucking miserable. If I could live forever, I would 100% be okay. I'm not going to lie. The only thing that would depress me is that I would probably lose a lot of friends for a long fucking time. But at the end of the day, that shit's gonna happen anyway.
So here's the thing, on a base level, I think we actually agree. It's just that Vampire Girl has an X factor for you that's entirely subjective that bumps her up.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Um. Next, wolf slash dog girl. Now this one's tricky. I 100% want to be biased, but I can't. I can't be biased here. And if we're talking about wife material, dog girl is a B tier for me because
Yeah, I have to agree. It's very similar reasons for Catgirl. It's just the context is switched.
yeah, context completely switched, but it's the same situation practically. Loyal, super fucking loyal. Probably would be a great housewife, but but you depending on which kind of dog girl, super high energy, hard to keep up with, especially after a while. That typically doesn't happen that often. Then we also have to think about age here, which is super tricky. I'd say there are some benefits, but there are also some cons that just make them flat out a good B and nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, Dog Girl, like you said, loyalty, big thing there. Absolutely a huge benefit. And you're also talking about probably some good energy, but also still enjoys naps. It's a good balance. Like, dog/wolf girl, naturally, just by selection, this is gonna maybe be the a weirder way to put it, but ultimately kind of bred and developed to be a great companion. We all know this about dog. So this is not a surprise. Very good. It's just a lot of similar reasons to cat girl.
Yeah.
There are downsides, and it just doesn't mesh with everyone. And it's basically the same kind of argument of you're putting in a lot of buy-in. And honestly, I would not be shy about A tier. It's just I think B is more fair.
Right. And I 100% agree with that. So, we are down to the last two contestants here. Let's start it off with B Girl. I already know
D
where the
tier,
fuck
don't
I'm.
don't don't
Fucking.
even try.
If any of you say anything other than D tier, I would like you to reevaluate yourself, sir. There's something wrong with
Absolute
you.
D.
Or madam.
There's no.
Not. We're not gonna get into that one here either.
I don't
Don't want.
care what configuration of person you are. If you put B girl anywhere other than D tier, you're wrong. On an existential level, you are wrong.
Everything about you is wrong. Your thoughts, your feelings, how you look at yourself in the mirror. You're just wrong.
All right, so
Now,
yeah,
Robot Girl.
B girl, just bad all around.
Okay.
Robot girl. I run into a very honestly similar problem in a certain department that I did with Zombie Girl. The potential that you're in a situation where your wife has been maybe programmed to love you.
Oh
I don't know
man,
about that one, Chief. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's and let's be clear here. This is robot. They did not put cyborg on here, and they did
Uh-huh.
not put android on here. This is a basic robot, which means that
Yeah.
that creature, or not even, we, ooh, is programmed the way that you have either purchased her or developed her to be programmed.
Oof.
And that makes you a fucking simp. So, D tier. Oh.
Oh god. A robot girl is for Sims. Yeah, okay.
You're a fucking simp. Anyway, Barden,
Oh fuck.
we have our list. It's complete.
Oh boy. I'm actually surprised that there are so few monster girls that are really good wives. Honestly, it's way lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we only have three in S tier. That is insane.
And they deserve to be there.
100%.
Every last one of them.
Including the Lamia. I swear to God, if you fucking say anything.
Listen, we're not I don't feel like getting into that energy that you have right now because it confuses me. But I'm not arguing, I'm just saying I'm confused.
They belong there. We will not discuss this any further. Anyone who leaves a comment, I swear to fucking God. Anyway, thank you for
Yeah,
joining
how
me
dare
for
you leave
this.
a comment? Don't do that. Don't
Don't you?
subscribe.
Don't you fucking? Yeah, how fucking like and subscribe? Fucking disgusting.
I'll reverse your psychology.
God. Anyway, thanks again, man. It's been real. I'm gonna close this out, and it's fucking it's 1:20 in the morning. So I'm assuming you probably want to go to fucking sleep.
Why did you do this to me? I'm going to be dreaming about this and I'm going to wake up and berate you about it.
I can't fucking wait, dude. Anyway, you have a good night, man.
Send help.
Never.
Wait, send the fairy.
Okay, dude. Later. Alright, so I bet you're all wondering where the fuck I've been for the last 9 months. So let's break this down into parts. I What began the break was me becoming depressed because my computer is rather old. I can't continue to record video games anymore. This is partly the reason why I decided to switch up the format, do something like this, and I'm enjoying it. It's still working, but I can't record video games anymore. It takes too much for my computer to handle it, and I don't have the equipment I would like to have in order to play the games that I want to play. And I've got a fuck ton of them. Let's just be real. I got a fuck ton of games that I could be recording if only I could run them while running my recording software, or in any shape if I could afford the money to buy something, even as a crutch, to make it work, but I can't. So for a long while, that was holding me back from making videos. The other thing is my current living situation and the situation with my job um, made making videos even harder. So that's where I took another hit. And man, I don't want to make the excuse that I couldn't make videos because of all these factors. Because as you can see, I just made one, but it really boiled down to whether I was motivated to do something, and every time I got motivated to do something, something got in the way. And I'm trying to fix that. So for now, the channel's not dead. I just gotta creatively think of ways to mix it up and make it work. Regardless, I have been Solince, and this has been a degenerate walk down what I prefer in wife material when it comes to monster girls. I might do another one of these videos. I have no fucking idea. I honestly don't care how well it's received. I just have fun making it. So, you guys have a wonderful night. Peace.